So what I'm going to show you today should make you mad as hell, and we should all be really thinking about the direction that our society is heading. The elite have decided that you and your family are obsolete in their new world, so they tend to tuck you away in the metaverse and make you eat bugs. And now they've activated celebrities and the media to brainwashing you into feeding your kids crickets. So let's check this out and take a look at what they're doing. This here, Yuval Noah Harari, he is an advisor for Klaus Schwab and for the World Economic Forum. So let's hear his thoughts on what he thinks about society.
I mean, previously in history, if you were on the wrong side of history, if you didn't understand what was happening and you lost the competition, then you ended up as some kind of serf or manual laborer being exploited by the people who understand and have the power. Now, if you're left behind, you're facing something far worse, which is to be completely irrelevant. They won't even need you as a serf.
So for the last few hundred years, the elite have needed society to work as minimum wage slaves to allow their corporations to prosper, get huge, and make trillions of dollars. So they had to make sure that the workforce of the world was happy. They let you have shopping malls to walk around in and buy stuff. They let you have Hollywood movies to enjoy your Friday night, because they knew if the workforce is unhappy, then they wouldn't be productive. Well, we're at the end of that era. Now with AI, robots, and automation, they absolutely don't need you anymore. They've been wanting to get rid of all their costs. So think about it. They're not going to have to pay labor cost, healthcare, overhead, or even the buildings that house their products, because soon all their products will be digital. So what do you do now with a society that, according to the elite, is no longer needed, and it no longer matters whether or not they're healthy or happy? Well, you limit their movements, freedom, and nutrition. So the elite have activated Hollywood and all the media outlets to start the brainwashing of this idea of eating bugs, your nutrition. So let's take a look at some of these clips here. We'll start with this one. Anna Faris on George Gordon. I guess that's his name. I think he's a late night talk guy. But watch, they're sitting here, they're cooking up bugs, and they're telling you how good it is. And watch the expression of this guy here. He's getting ready to eat it, and look, he's going to show you how much he loves it. You see, it's good. Bugs are good. So you saw it. He says it's good. He made the face that it's good, so it must be good. So we move on over here to this video. So did you even see what they just told you there? They're going to take roaches, worms, and other bugs and then let them eat landfill garbage, and then that will be your meal. They're going to take cockroaches and feed them trash and then feed them to you. Okay, we move on to the next one here. Nova has made a hour-long video that tells you how good that insects will be. It says Nova takes a tasty look at insect foods that could benefit our health and our warming planet. So they're on board. You go over here to this video. Now, I want you to notice what they're saying here. Their insects are more sustainable to produce than other animal protein. What they mean when they say sustainable is cheap. They're cheaper to make. Then we get to this one. I can't even figure out if this one's even a joke or not. It says, drink up. Cockroach milk is the protein drink you didn't know you've been missing. This will be what your sustainability insect farms will look like.
Maybe put down your fork, because Wang Fumin has a surprise for you. Welcome to the roach farm.
So inside here is where they breed the cockroaches. There are nearly 1 million cockroaches.
Just smell that unique smell they have.
Ooh, you can smell it, huh? This is the mother lode in this one giant packet of roaches ordered by Chinese pharmaceutical companies. It's almost 6 feet tall.
So basically, that's our future. That's where our future food and medicine, that's where it's coming from for our kids and our family. And why is the media force feeding you this idea of eating insects? Well, we already heard. The elite don't need you anymore, so why do they have to ensure that the population is healthy? And after your diet of trash-fed insects, pills, and all of the chemicals in the water, you aren't going to have the sperm count to even produce offspring. And another reason the media is force-feeding you this idea is because they're owned by large corporations. And large corporations are jumping on this insect hype train for one reason. It's cheap. And here our governments are now investing into corporations that will specialize in growing these insects. And that is over here in, I believe it's Canada. Canadian government invests $8.5 million in insect production. And this next part should boil your blood. While we will get our nutrients from cockroaches from China that have been grown in a hole in the wall, the rich are growing lush, organic gardens. Take a look.
Unless we realize that we are ourselves very much a part of nature.
Prince of Wales had a vision. He wanted to try organic farming, and I didn't really know what that meant, but I said yes, of course,
30 years ago, Prince Charles and his charismatic farm manager started an unconventional agricultural project.
So Prince Charles talks a big game when it comes to climate change, but even he understands the importance of organic farming with happy, healthy animals. He's calling it sustainable here, but that's what they do. They play these word tricks with you. He's calling it sustainable, but what the sustainable term, what it means to them and what it means is to us are two totally different things. Sustainable farming for him means organic gardening with livestock and fresh fruits and vegetables. And sustainable gardening for the rest of us means vertical farms in a Monsanto lab and insects that eat trash. In this video, they even talk about raising the correct plants in order to harvest nitrogen to be able to put that back into the soil. I mean, check out this part where he's talking about seeing minute differences in the soil when using healthy, sustainable farming practice, which the sustainable we know is just organic.
But the moment we went through the process of conversion and started to build nitrogen in the soil naturally, you started to notice a change.
One occurred when we planted clover and grass in a mixture, no fertilizer on it at all, and to my astonishment it grew incredibly well, and that was my eyes being open to an alternative way of producing grazing and food.
This guy's even smelling the soil to ensure that Prince Charles only gets the healthiest food. And then they act like they just discovered fire with these farming practices when people have been using these techniques all over the world. And if this farming is so great for the environment like he's telling us it is, then why isn't this what he is pushing for the rest of us? Why is it insects and vertical farms and stuff? Why isn't this being taught in schools? I mean, he's telling you that it's sustainable farming and that it works. So why isn't this being pushed by the elite? Well, you know why. Because if everybody was able to grow their own food, they wouldn't need the government and they wouldn't buy insect protein from large corporations. It's just another money grab. And now let's take a look at Lenny Kravitz and his farm.
Anybody who comes here will be eating beautiful organic produce farm to table. And yeah, this is my life. Come join me.
It's a rough life, yeah. This is what the rich and the elite are doing. They're creating huge, sprawling organic farms while they get you and herd you into large megacities where you'll live in micro apartments. If insects have been proven by science to be such a great source of health and longevity for the rest of us, then why is Prince Charles and Lenny Kravitz wasting their time with cows, sheep, and fresh fruit and vegetables? And I want you to really think about something here for a minute. Think that back 200 years ago, there was 50 to 100 million buffalo. And it says here, in 1871, an American soldier named George Anderson sent a letter to his sweetheart describing a herd he saw in Kansas. I am safe in calling this a single herd, he wrote, but it is impossible to approximate the millions that composed it. It took me 6 days on horseback to ride through it. Why didn't these huge number of buffalo and their farts destroy the earth like they're telling us now that cattle will do? So what does the future hold for us if this keeps up? Well, let me show you. This is a tweet that somebody put together some news clippings and articles and stuff where it looks to be telling you that eating people and cannibalism, it's not that bad, really. Cannibalism is perfectly natural. Swedish scientist advocates eating humans to combat climate change. Cannibalism has a time and place. Some recent books, films, and shows suggest that the time is now. Can you stomach it? Eating babies. Georgia school has teens solve hunger with cannibalism. So a government school in Georgia has been exposed for forcing high school students to develop a business plan for a company that would tackle world hunger by making babies into food. And do you think that it's way too far out there and that people won't stand for eating human remains? Well, think about something. Did you ever think that not too long ago that people would be accepting or starting to accept eating cockroaches? We're now on a precipice of a time when future generations will not know what it was like to eat good, healthy food. But what happens when the world elite decide, you know what, even that is too much trouble? And I bet you're saying that, you'll go out and just raise your own livestock and your fruits and vegetables, or you'll buy from local farmers, right? Well, those will be gone through carbon taxes and the excuse of climate change. The elite that own these corporations cannot have you see or remember a time when it was commonplace to eat healthy livestock. So that's it for now. Thanks for listening to me rant. If you don't care, please comment below and tell me that if you're on board with eating insects or not. And if you wouldn't care, take the time to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you and take care.